Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. And today's random review is the 1982 film The Missionary, directed by Richard Loncraine, and written and produced and starring Michael Palin. This is an Indicator release, and of course they also did Bellman and True, another fantastic little Richard Loncraine film as well, which I highly recommend picking up. As with all Indicator releases, this is quite fantastic. It has a lovely book with essays and interviews, and it has a bunch of extras. It has a commentary by Michael Palin, a commentary by Richard Loncraine, a 38-minute interview with Michael Palin and Maggie Smith, even though the majority of it is Michael Palin. An interview with the costume designer, the music composer, the makeup designer, sound recordist, and an appreciation by Rob Deering even. 7 minutes of deleted scenes, an original trailer, and an image gallery. So again, I would highly recommend picking up from Indicator. It's by number 124. Like I said, this is made in 1982. It's another one of the early handmade film productions. It cost a whopping £2.2 million, and it tells the story of a missionary, strangely enough, played by Michael Palin, who has been in Africa for 10 years and comes back to London to marry his betrothed, who he has sent 643 letters and 150 postcards to, and she really likes filing, so she's filed them all in this room, with filing cabinets and filing cards, and it's a very funny film, but it is kind of quietly subversive. So he goes to meet the bishop, played by Denham Elliott, who just talks in kind of sporting terms, and his new mission is to go into the streets of London and help prostitutes get off the game, or fallen women, which as fiancé just means have they hurt their knees, and he gets somewhat involved with his work. He is also kind of stalked by Maggie Smith, who is a benefactor who's married to Trevor Howard, who gives a fantastically funny performance as some kind of general who doesn't really like the poor and underprivileged. And obviously this puts a strain on his marriage plans, and it's basically his adventures or misadventures trying to get these women to stop being prostitutes. It's an absolute blast. It's a period film, and the period detail is really nice. I think it was kind of overlooked in the early 80s with British films like, Long Good Friday, and then later Withnail and I. But this might not be as good as those two, but it certainly deserves a kind of reappraisal. It's got a fantastic cast. Obviously you've got Michael Palin, but you've got Maggie Smith, who's just fantastic. As this sex-starved rich woman who wants to help Michael Palin with his endeavours and out of his clothes as well. Denham Elliott gives a really nice turn as the bishop. There's a lot of really nice one-liners. Denham Elliott has a line about being really excited because he's got to go because he's got an exorcism in Chiswick. Michael Hordern, who has a Spinal Tap Hello Cleveland scene when he's trying to show Michael Palin to the Ameses, Maggie Smith and Trevor Howard, and he gets lost in this huge house. He plays a really forgetful butler, which is just, he does it to a T. He also narrates the film, so you do get a kind of bit of a flashback to Barry Lyndon, where he also narrated that as well. There's even a little nod to Chariots of Fire. Timothy Spall, a young Timothy Spall, is in it. David Suchet turns up, playing a Scottish gamekeeper. It's just wonderfully played. You could argue the third act maybe could do with a little editing, but I mean, it is quietly subversive in the fact that it kind of satirises the church, it satirises the upper classes, it kind of has digs at Englishness. Richard Loncraine perhaps doesn't have a kind of recognisable visual style. Bellman and True, for example, is more kind of gritty and realistic and naturalistic. But in this film, I mean, it might not be Barry Lyndon beauty, but there is some just ravishingly beautiful shots. They go up to Scotland for a while when Michael Palin tries to stop Maggie Smith killing Trevor Howard, and that's just beautifully shot as well. And there's just wonderful shots in the English countryside which are just quite beautiful. One of the country houses that they shoot in is also used in Downton Abbey, for all you Downton Abbey fans. It's a beautiful film. It's a funny film. I mean, there's just so many wonderful little one-liners that aren't particularly, they don't stand up and go, here's a one-liner. They're just very subtle, but they're just so good. Michael Palin, despite the fact all the women want to sleep with him, he still comes across as a bit of a bumbling fool, so he's immediately engaging and you're kind of on his side, whereas obviously characters, that all the women want to be with him can sometimes be quite annoying, but he just underplays it so well. The supporting cast, like I said, is just fantastic. There's a great scene, for example, where he goes to a potential benefactor and gives this huge speech, and the old man actually dies during the speech, and the wife is just like so apologetic to Michael Palin. It is really funny, and she's like, oh, he's never done that before, he's never died while somebody's actually been speaking to him. There's just so much to like about the film. I think I remember roughly when it came out, and I'm sure I must have seen it once before, but it was like a long time ago. And there really is a lot to enjoy about the film. It's just absolutely wonderful. So let me know in the comments below whether you have seen The Missionary and what you think of it. Again, I would highly recommend picking up both Richard Loncraine films on Indicator. Bellman and True is Spine 125, Missionaries 124, because they're great releases, great prints, and two really underrated British films of the 80s that need a bit more exposure. So thanks very much for watching this random review, and hopefully we'll see you again for more random reviews. This is Solitude Ronan saying farewell.